The year is 1600. Imagine a world without cars, electricity, or even proper plumbing. This was the reality for those brave souls who dared to cross the vast Atlantic and settle in the New World. Many harbored grand dreams of riches and easy living, fueled by tales of abundant land and untold opportunity. The reality, as we shall soon discover, was far harsher, a constant struggle for survival against the unforgiving forces of nature, disease, and conflict. This essay aims to peel back the layers of myth and romanticized history, presenting a raw and unfiltered glimpse into the lives of those who laid the very foundation of what would become the United States of America. We often picture colonists as hardy folk, readily adapting to their new environment. However, the early years were marked by hardship and tragedy. The land, while seemingly bountiful, demanded back-breaking labor and offered little respite. The indigenous inhabitants, initially perceived as exotic and primitive, proved to be both a blessing and a curse, offering trade and alliances, yet fiercely defending their ancestral lands from encroachment. The journey across the Atlantic was no pleasure cruise. Cramped, unsanitary conditions aboard wooden vessels tossed about by tempestuous seas were the norm. Disease ran rampant, claiming the lives of many before they even set foot on dry land. The promise of a new life, of escaping religious persecution or economic hardship, fueled their determination. Upon arrival, the sight of the pristine American coastline, a tapestry of dense forests meeting the vast ocean, must have stirred a mix of trepidation and exhilaration in their hearts. However, this initial awe soon gave way to the daunting reality of establishing a foothold in this unfamiliar territory. Forests needed to be cleared, shelters erected, and the land, untamed and unforgiving, had to be coaxed into yielding sustenance. The first winter proved particularly brutal, with many succumbing to starvation, disease, or the bitter cold. Life in colonial America revolved around the cycle of the sun. Days were long and arduous, filled with the relentless demands of subsistence farming. Men and women, their hands calloused from labor, toiled side by side, clearing fields, planting crops, and tending to livestock. The concept of leisure was a luxury few could afford. Sundays offered a brief respite, a time for prayer and communal gatherings, reinforcing the importance of faith and community in their lives. Children, too, were expected to contribute from a young age, assisting with chores, fetching water, and learning the skills necessary for survival. Education, often rudimentary and centered around religious teachings, was a privilege reserved for those who could spare the time and resources. Life was a constant negotiation with scarcity, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Section 4. Nature's fury, battling the elements, famine, and conflict. The colonists soon learned that the New World, while brimming with promise, could also be a place of unforgiving harshness. Winters were long and brutal, often testing the limits of their endurance. Food shortages, a constant threat, led to periods of desperate hunger, forcing them to consume anything remotely edible, berries, roots, and even, in extreme cases, leather. Conflicts with the native tribes, often over land and resources, were another harsh reality. These encounters, ranging from skirmishes to full-blown wars, claimed countless lives on both sides, leaving a legacy of mistrust and animosity that would linger for generations. Section 5. From the soil to the market, the backbone of the colonial economy. Farming formed the bedrock of the colonial economy. The fertile soil, once cleared and cultivated, yielded a bounty of crops: tobacco, cotton, wheat, and corn, staples that not only sustained the colonists but also fueled trade with England. Timber, abundant in the vast forests, became another valuable commodity, used for shipbuilding and construction, fueling the growth of bustling port cities along the Atlantic coast. Trade with Europe flourished, with raw materials from the colonies exchanged for manufactured goods, tools, and luxury items. This transatlantic exchange, while enriching the colonists, also sowed the seeds of future conflict. as the desire for greater autonomy and control over their own destinies began to take root. Section 6. The price of prosperity, indentured servitude, and the shadows of slavery. As the colonies prospered and the demand for labor grew, a dark side to this economic expansion emerged: indentured servitude, a system where individuals worked for a set period in exchange for passage to the New World, and eventual freedom became commonplace. However, the conditions these servants endured were often harsh and exploitative. The transatlantic slave trade, a horrific chapter in human history, cast a long shadow over the colonies. Africans, forcibly taken from their homeland, were subjected to the brutal system of chattel slavery, their labor fueling the growth of cash crops like tobacco and cotton. This reliance on enslaved labor, while economically expedient, would have profound and lasting consequences for the future of the nation. Section 7. A legacy forged in hardship: the enduring impact of the colonial experience. The colonial experience, though fraught with challenges and contradictions, laid the groundwork for the United States we know today. The values of self-reliance, hard work, and resilience forged in the crucible of hardship became ingrained in the American identity. The yearning for freedom and self-determination, initially manifested in the struggle for survival, would later fuel the flames of revolution. The legacy of colonial America is a complex tapestry, woven from threads of both triumph and tragedy. It is a story of ordinary individuals confronting extraordinary circumstances, their lives marked by both the darkness of human cruelty and the enduring light of hope, perseverance, and the unyielding pursuit of a better tomorrow. Understanding their struggles and triumphs is not merely an exercise in historical reflection. It is a vital key to comprehending the soul of a nation.